and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dadley Boyz of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete. And a bloody good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's Raw. What do you make of the show?
Von Wagner must add soothsayer to his growing collection of gimmicks and personality traits, because he said come Tuesday before Triple H took over as WWE's head booker, and I've experienced 52 of them this year. Maybe the biggest of all last night. Another tremendous Raw. Punk free and still great. How are they doing that?
It's like a box of cereal. Punk free and still great.
How are they doing that?
This was the absolute definition of, it's not for me. This does not align with my personal tastes, which everyone has and cannot help realistically.
I don't believe that. I think you definitely have an anti-certain company bias this week, and that might change next week.
Indeed. Indeed. The absolute definition of, really not for me, this. Not for me, but my God. What a magnificent job this product is doing for its audience.
Yeah.
There were elements of the show that I did enjoy, but broadly, it was a very, very much a, you have to like WWE to like this episode of Raw. Raw, the equivalent, I guess, is like, I've got children. You know this. My 5-year-old daughter is in this thing now where it's more, I'd like to think that the product she consumes on YouTube isn't necessarily what she enjoys. She just likes being able to use a remote control, like turn it on, scroll, pick a thumbnail, just the agency that being in charge of the telly affords.
Does the thumbnail, does the content behind the thumbnail actually provide what the thumbnail suggested? Generally, yes. Well, then that's not clickbait, is it? And people should probably learn the definition of that word.
Indeed.
Sorry.
Indeed. And so she watches this thing now called Cooking Challenge, and it's these weird...
It's every Wednesday morning on the USA Network.
That's your life. Where basically it's like these sort of weird sketches that are very much designed for kids, where there's like 3 different chefs, and they each make their own version of a thing.
Yes.
And like one of them's like, here's a quite well-made pizza. Here is like bread with some tomato and a block of cheese on it. Oh, that's the wrong pizza. Which one is the best pizza? And I have to go, shot, which one would you like? There's a jog, I think that one with the big cheese. I'm a big fan of cheese. It's like, and I'm watching it going, I think this is absolutely But Charlotte absolutely loves this, absolutely transfixed. And it's honestly, I come in...
So much which one in 2023, like which one's AW, which one's the first? Big tomato cheese show. Who's it going to be? Dynamite or Raw? It could go either way.
This one. And I had this epiphany when I was watching The Cooking Challenge over our shoulder last night, just before the wind down, before bedtime. And I was just thinking, I'm watching this show. I'm watching a child transfixed by it. I, as an adult, just do not get what people enjoy about this. And I'm thinking, literally, I'm going to have this exact same experience at midday tomorrow. This exact verbatim feeling of just being incredulous that people think this is genuinely great with the bright colours and the terrible comedy, and think, you know what, my 38 and 36-year-old colleagues, I'm going to be watching this with them, and they're going to react in the same way.
They're going to pick Big Tomato Cheese Bread Wrestling. I love that we finally landed on it. Oh, well, it's another Big Tomato Cheese Bread Raw, and that means good to some people.
In another, infinite universes, in another universe, you're Hamlet's dad watching Raw with him going...
I felt like that's all year.
Going, what do you think's going to happen to our truth here? I was like, I think it's going to be pretty bloody funny, Dad.
Get me another block of cheese. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, that is a sense. You've nailed last Raw review. You've absolutely nailed it.
Got there.
We have completed 2023 coverage.
2023.
Yeah. And Judgment Day, celebrate with the titles. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning of the show.
Loved the main event, by the way.
Yeah.
Really thought the main event was strong.
So
I enjoyed it more than Damian Priest.
Yeah, he was in a grunt, wasn't he?
It was big CM Punk, Bobby Fish energy in that finish. Like, I don't know what went down.
I think I've got a theory, but we'll save it till the end.
Yeah. So to open the show, Damian Priest came out. He was also flanked by Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dom, and JD Madonna. And of course, collectively,
they're in the fucking Judgment Day.
And they do that.
Bread, cheese, tomato, pizza.
And she's like, that pizza? Why doesn't mine look like that? To the other one with a big chef's hat with the basil.
Dominic Mysterio. R-Truth. Akira Tozawa. Wrestling Cedric.
You're right.
Doesn't look right to me, Anthony.
So they do it on the show promo with the cool lights. I don't understand how they do it. Damian Priest wants us to all rise. And Finn Balor says, hey, congratulations to the Creed brothers. They've earned their shot. It's got their biggest match of their careers, the biggest night of their lives. And yet for us, it's just another night of the office because we're the two-time undisputed champs. Rhea Ripley warns Ivy Nile not to talk about her again, says Judgment Day is going to make 2024 their year, just like 2023. And Dominic tries to say that they run all of WWE, but you can't hear him because he's getting booed out of the building. Then here comes R-Truth. He says, guys, you left me back there. I didn't realise we were opening the... He's got a Judgment Day, Beatles T-shirt, but he's stuck and R-Truth at the bottom in tape.
It's been a nice running bit, that. Because they've all got... There's a billion Judgment Day T-shirts. And JD McDonough's been wearing that one the last few weeks and has added Andrew Dillon on it.
Yeah.
Like himself. Out of, this insecurity, is he in it or not? And like R-Truth's just saying, I'm in it. Just no sells, beatdowns and full angles. I was so relieved when he walked out. I was like, of course, R-Truth doesn't acknowledge reality.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I liked the bit I showed you as well on TikTok or whatever. Rhea and Dom had shot this video where they were, they were out somewhere. And he just, when people, I don't know, I'm too old for it. I don't understand how they can just do like, as if they've green screened themselves. So it's they're on top of another video almost. He just put himself in the middle of the two of them going, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, guys. Yeah, we're off over here. And then they did a photo.
You're taking the piss. You're not...
It's really good.
I'll show you afterwards.
No, I'd rather not.
He says...
So this video's playing, and they're like, I think they're like touring Perth or something
like that, isn't it?
So they're getting to do all these local activities and all that, and he's got no props or anything, so he just had to sort of like nod along everything, and they just stopped dead to take like a fan picture or something. So he's like watching, oh yeah, like that, and it's good stuff, Sitch.
So JD McDonough goes, what the hell are you doing here? And True says, I'm the Judgment Day. I was initiated last week. I don't want to complain too much, but he did kind of cross the line a little bit. It's a bit rough, to be honest. But Priest, I know you didn't mean it when you said you didn't like me. I saw it in your eyes. Priest crumbles. That's it. He corpses. I love watching Damian Priest try and be like, I'm Damian Priest, yes, kicker. Yeah. And just for some reason, R-Truth just gets him every single time. JD says, if you're worried about getting hurt, then you better get out of this bloody ring. She's like, hey, everybody's looking for a fight. Rhea wants to beat up Ivy. Finn and Damian Priest want to beat up the Creed brothers. Maybe I need somebody to beat up. And he stares at JD.
He's advertising the show as well.
Yes.
Yeah, very clever.
He stares at JD. Priest at one point as well got in between JD and was like, hey, let's get R-Truth out for a second. Truth says, see all these trees, see all these lights. Love animosity, me and you. How about we squash the beef, we can all be a happy family. Let's do a Miracle on 34th Street fight. And JD says, it's already scheduled, it's already happening, it's already been announced. And she says, well, we better go now. 34th Street's pretty long way away from here. Sorry, how do I get to 34th Street? And JD's like, Truth says, right, well, this is a loser leaves Judgment Day match. they just hoy this stipulation onto it. What did you make of this opening before they got to the match?
I'm not just saying this because I was kind of the first guy to back this, actually. It's Triple H copying his own homework. This is the Bloodline, isn't it? And this is all those segments that people find really funny, but it's not going to have anywhere near the stakes, the importance. R-Truth versus whoever, like Damian Priest, Finn Balor maybe, is not going to be like an Elimination Chamber or a B-show main event like Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns was. It's not going to have these like far-reaching consequences. But, as I said after Survivor Series, we were moving away from the believable claim that the Judgment Day had that they run. Well, they don't anymore. They've got belts and stuff, but they've been like knocked back by the baby faces. They've lost the big battle at War Games, and it's like, right now we need to sort of kind of reframe our authority a little bit. We've got a clubhouse and we're bullies and we're mean and we've still got the tag belts, so we're still a big deal and all that sort of thing. But you've lost you've lost the argument, ultimately. You don't run Raw, you don't run WWE. You're good, you're credible, but this... we're the most dominant group. It's bollocks, and it's out there as bollocks now. So you can absolutely play with this instead. And yeah, R-Truth, I think, is just added some levity to the Judgment Day in general, to the segments.
It's had enough levity.
It's continuing to enhance, and I know this won't be for everybody, but it's the very WWE thing. Is like, right, well, what? It's Damian Priest, the 5-tool player. Let's see how he can fit in this comedic setting. And I think he's fitting quite well, even if half the time it's corpsing. Like, they're obviously borrowing from when Jimmy Uso was first high-fiving with Sami Zayn. It's like, I quite like him, you know. Like, Damian Priest being like, well, I don't love JD that much. Let's just see where this goes. Like, I don't know, that feels quite cathartic because you're with him. You're like, yeah, I'd love to boot JD McDonough out and just have R-Truth in full-time. If this was my friend group, I'd be making that call. I'd be casting that vote. I don't think this is... fluff. I think There
was a bit of me that thought there's going to come a moment.
It's a miracle on 34th Street Fright.
Don't get me wrong. They're kind of projecting this as if it's WWE nonsense, but I think the benefits underneath this go beyond the silly segments. This is not wasted time. This is not R-Truth in the 24/7 title.
No.
This is not bad character development.
There was a bit of me that thought, is R-Truth going to help them retain the tag titles tonight?
Yeah.
And they're suddenly going to be like, wait a second, are you kind of useful?
Like, they're gonna have to decide between them how useful he could be for them in the Royal Rumble, for example.
They'll do a match where every member of the Judgment Day is banned from ringside in a tag title match, other than the people who are defending the titles. And then R-Truth's going to help them. And then you go, well, he's not in the Judgment Day, but now he is. I got him a T-shirt. He's got his name on it.
He's going to get his T-shirt, and it's going to, like I say, it's all very diet.
WWE's basically becoming a T-shirt company, is what we're trying to say.
Yes.
What do you make of all this?
Not much, man. Not much at all.
Have I told you my pitch for this, by the way? Long term. I don't know
why I would have listened to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably did. And you were like, yeah, sounds good. Your headphones on the entire time, just waiting for my mouth to stop moving, basically.
When I'm trying to get my work done.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to get my written work done.
They have, in this scenario, they still have the tag titles.
Oh, Brock Lesnar's his mate, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Who you got as your friend? Brock Lesnar. Oh, bollocks.
Fantastic.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. So
it's just not funny.
What?
It's just not funny.
What, my pitch or this or all of the above? Yeah.
The idea is, this is I know they're trying, like, Dissension and Judgment Day. Oh, what an angle. This segment was on a knockabout holiday show that was a very big success for its own fan base. You could just hear it. Feel it in the building that everyone in the building had fun. Not me, Doug. This was a segment of television.
And there was just a taping
on a knockabout holiday show, right? Designed to make you laugh. I did not laugh.
That's fair. I
chortled.
It is the base thing, isn't it? Because there was like, you could hear the laughter in the building.
Oh, like, people like, yeah, I liked it.
So yeah, we got a Miracle on 34th Street fight. With loser leaving the Judgment Day. Usual stuff. JD McDonough grabs a candy cane kendo stick. That doesn't quite count, does it? Because it's CC and then K. So it's not super bad. Truth does his...
CCK versus Superbad sounds like a Brit Rest tag from the Boom era, doesn't it?
Yeah. Literally one of them is Kip Sabian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
CCK, was that Kid Lycos and Chris Brooks?
Yes.
Is that right?
I don't know.
WCPW stars, yeah. Truth gets out of the way.
Weren't they all?
Kendo stick. Kicks JD, takes his belt off, whips him. JD rolls outside. Truth smashes his head off a table full of cookies. There's a Christmas tree getting lobbed about. Truth hoists JD into the ring and gives Dom a hug because he's his mate. And Dom, the git that he is, waits until he's turned around and sends him into the ring post. Take us to a break. When we get back, Truth's getting a table. McDonough cuts him off before he can use it, though. Dom trips Truth as he's hitting the ropes. But Truth lands his head first in JD McDonough's cack. So Truth sends Dom...
Look at him, he's tittering away.
It's him. Man.
Truth sends Dom into the steel step, sprays a fire extinguisher in JD McDonough's face, does the Cena comeback, hits McDonough with a Christmas tree. They battle on the top. There's a table set up in the ring. McDonough, I think that the spot was meant to be, he headbutts Truth and goes to pull him in to do a move, but Truth can feel himself falling, so he just hugs JD McDonough, takes him down. They both out, but Truth's unconscious on top of JD McDonough, so the ref counts it, and I'm like, I mean, JD McDonough's out at Judgment Day.
A really good and surprising finish, by the way, to what was fluff. This is the point, right? Maybe this is a good example, and there are always many, of WWE versus pro wrestling, because love the first segment, everything I want. Did they give a toss about the match? Not really. How often is that the case in WWE? How often is the work, either because the work simply isn't of a standard, or because the gimmick has been done so many times that they can't reinvent the wheel over and over again. But I cared about the result.
Yeah.
And the finish was nicely arrived upon. It was like an authentic way to do this very stupid finish within the confines of a very stupid match, and was like, and I cared about the result. I was like, hang on, where's this going? Because I cared about how, despite how comedic and daft it was, the stakes that were set up in the opening segment, the wrestling, as it often is in WWE, is often like superfluous. Is that the word?
No, honestly, it's surreal to me that they end up in the ring half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it is. It's like there's such a disconnect.
And I can absolutely take that on my WWE consumption. Like, and not just like the NXT version of it. It would grate on me if it was an AEW. It's not what it's for. It's not what All Elite Wrestling is for. But again, I believe in in-universe rules, and I think it's one reason why I'm a big fan of Triple H. Vince McMahon, like, broke the rules of his universe a gazillion times. And, like, there was barely any rules to begin with because he ruined all of that. Like, Triple H knows his rules and keeps it within. Like, they're still bananas. They're still stupid, fundamentally, in WWE, but he does keep within those rules. And then you get a finish like that, and you get what's going to be this continuation of Damian Priest and Finn Balor quite like him. Like, Rhea, Dom, and JD are not on board with this.
It's going to be completely justified on Christmas Day to be like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, who's house am I coming around to?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Like,
Why are we doing it at JD's? He's not.
Oh my God, Christmas dinner at the clubhouse because it's taped.
It's a best of show.
Oh, it's a best of show.
Yeah, they're not doing
Oh, is it? Okay.
Imagine like it's a purple turkey.
I don't have time for that. A best of show. How long is it? All day. 24 hours.
Remember that WrestleMania all day in 2000?
Shut up a second. I'll give my thoughts on this match.
Oh, yeah.
I would argue this wasn't even good fluff, personally. The problem is that, for me, JD McDonough is fundamentally terrible at everything that isn't a 2018 NXT audition match. Like, I don't think he's good at bumping. I think his strikes often look terrible. I think he's just gets so many things wrong. And that's him in his normal arena, right? When you try and take him out of there and have him try and do a comedy match, I don't think he's got any comedic timing. He hasn't got any comedic flair. Like when they did the, oh my God, his head put on his balls spot, like his facials, like he was in the 38th minute of a takeover main event. I mean, it wasn't like funny.
Yeah.
It wasn't cathartic for me to watch him, get his bollocks blown out.
There's a way to register that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the finish as well, it didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm going to lose, or, oh my God, what's happening here? Flailing about. He just got landed on. He's not funny, not a funny performer at all. Therefore, this comedy match was bad. R-Truth, I don't find funny, but you can tell he is funny, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
JD McDonough's like none of the above. Not even mileage may vary in comedy, just a fundamentally boring man who does not have any patter whatsoever.
Doesn't sound like we're agreeing much about this Raw. What the hell happened to the Hive Mind? What, we used to be a company.
Carter and Chance, it feels like we cut this promo for them. They've got a title match against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and they're planning on winning the tag titles and bloody partying because they love it so much.
They're the frigging worst. These two, I don't know how long a stint we're in with these, but Christ.
To the Rumble. That's it.
The match, oh my God, not so good.
You got a month and a half. They're losing it at the Rumble. I realised that as the match was going on. I was like, actually, yeah, Kabuki Warriors taking it off for them makes more sense.
They should beat them on day one because they've been partying too
God,
hard for New Year's Eve.
But did you see they've actually put the day one branding on the
I told you this yesterday on the preview.
I didn't see that, to be honest.
You hadn't seen it?
You didn't hear it either.
You were that excited. We were saying like, oh yeah, they've made it all day one. Like,
I didn't realise.
You just thought
they were just calling it day one.
Because it was the 1st of January.
Nia Jax comes out. Before she says anything, though,
There'll be NXT's next year after that, won't it, as well? That's how time works, isn't it?
Oh my God.
So hang on, will that be New Year's Day, Will?
Oh, what's it work with the leap year, though?
That's
Is it a leap year?
2024, yeah.
2024, so hang on, I'll check my calendar quickly.
Olympics.
You know when the last time there was a leap year?
Yeah. And
what happened on the day?
Oh, was that when like lockdown was called or something?
It was Revolution 2020.
Was it? February 29th, 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, no, day one's a Wednesday.
Oh. New Year's smash.
Nia Jax comes out. Becky Lynch comes out before she can say anything, though. And Nia Jax goes to leave. Becky's like, where you going? You should clearly come out to have something to say. Why don't you say it? Nia says, I'd love to break your face again, but I've got more important stuff to do. I am entering the Women's Royal Rumble match. Becky says, oh, we don't care. I came here looking for a fight. Nia says, we've never fought because you're afraid of what I do to you. You're the moneymaker of this company. If we went one-on-one, that'd end. You're the size of my leg, basically. Becky says, I'm the moneymaker. I'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. That's why. It's not anyone else or anything else preventing this. It's you, Nia. Your existence has been on the back of someone's name. First your cousins, now me. Your only claim to fame is that you broke the nose of the greatest to ever do it. Prove me wrong. Face me right here, right now. Nia's like, fine, get a ref out here. Let's do this. Ref runs out. Nia walks down to the ramp. And then, no. She says, look, you can see how bad you want it. And that's why you're not going to get it. It's going to happen on my terms. It'll happen San Diego, hometown, day one. And you're going to end up in hospital, Becky, with your daughter asking you why you're uglier than usual. And Jax sort of stops, chuntering to herself while she's walking up the ramp. So Becky Lynch jumps her, attacks her. Officials separate them, and Jax uses that opportunity to nail Becky Lynch in the back of the head.
Fine. You know what I mean? It was fine. They reiterated what they feel about each other as characters, why the match is kind of happening, why they are in conflict. They set a date for their match. The promo material was pretty good. Not fantastic, but pretty good. And then they teased the brawl. It was a good touch to it in the back of the head.
Yeah.
A good touch because you're never, ever going to replicate, or you shouldn't try to replicate the reason why all of this exists. If you just punch someone in the face, you ruin the heat. You ruin the prospect of it happening again. So I thought that was quite smart. Fine. This is okay.
This was, for me, this was like another good, this was just how WWE does things, but Triple H knows how to polish up. This was absolute rehashing of the premise. Mm-hmm. But I almost try and like create a reason to rehash it rather than just because you're filling TV time, because we know that's what's really happening. Nia Jax last week, one of my big complaints was wrestlers just do stuff because that's what wrestlers are. It's on my time. It's like you're at work. This is your time. And by the way, it's mine as well as a viewer. No, I'm going to wait till San Diego. I've been looking at the calendar. That's where I want that match. So logic, right? That's like she applied some logic to why she wants this match. She's announced, I think there might have been something hiding in this as well. She announced herself for the Royal Rumble as if she was looking beyond Becky Lynch to winning the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch, being the moneymaker, being the big star, has kind of had her ego played to a little bit here. I think she will enter the Royal Rumble too, and I think it will be Nia Jax's goal to take her out of the Rumble before she enters it. They're going to do the punch in the face tease. Nia Jax might even win, but she might lose, but punch her in the face, and then they'll run an angle where can Becky make the Rumble? Like, she took her out of Survivor Series all that time ago, and now she's taking her out of the Rumble, and like Nia Jax might have lost on the night or whatever. She could win, but she might have lost on the night, but this is the real quiz. She's taking her out of the Rumble. I thought the mention of that was quite interesting as well. Like, decent TV stuff would never sell a pay-per-view with it, but not everything has to.
Kofi Claus appears earlier on to give the fans all presents, and then he's backstage, bumps into Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. They say they want the tag titles for Christmas. Kofi Claus, says...
Not a GameCube, then.
You can have a Yeet shirt instead, which is lovely, actually. If you've seen that clip of Gargano's son reacting to Jey Uso's music, that is genuinely just a nice thing.
It's like a complete twat.
Kids love wrestling. It's just magic, isn't it? There's every time you see a kid look like something about wrestling that makes them go, oh, "That's the best." Yeah. We were all that once.
Is that why you two are both like, do you want to watch wrestling yet, or no? I
can't get them.
Still football, is it?
I get them, and I realise I never will. That's the
I don't think James ever will. No. He's at the age now where if he was going to be awestruck and glued to it and obsessed and what is this, I think that time has passed. Now he's 9 in March. So I think that has passed. He'll watch me watch Orange Cassidy. He thinks Orange Cassidy's general approach is like funny and amusing and different, but he just doesn't have that. I'll watch anything. I used to watch the worst wrestling of all time, and through my 7-year-old eyes, it was just all goated. And if you don't have that, I don't think you'll ever get it.
I think there's a chance.
I was like 12 before I realised that's so matches are bad.
Yeah.
It's genuinely, Finn Martin had to tell me this as well.
Yeah. It's so my brain as a kid was, I was exposed to some wrestling, and then I needed everything that ever fed into that. So like the Royal Rumble 99 was amazing. We're going to watch this 100 times. There's 30 people in that. What have those 30 people been doing the last 5 or 6 years? I need every tape that catches me there. I need to see everything going forward. Cards, magazines, whatever. It just encouraged me to learn, like do all my sort of additional reading or whatever it is. Like the game's changed a little bit now. So like kids can just watch, say like one thumbnail or one video or whatever and just click it and get a bit of something. And then it's like on to the next thing. There's no sense of I need to build a context to that. Like, I could see my kids getting into content about wrestling like this more than they get into wrestling. The mark's for yous already because they know about you. And, like, every now and then, my dad likes to put us on the telly. And I'm like, not too much, Dad. And
who's your Stacks guy?
So, like, my boys are just total narcissists. They like to watch videos of them as kids. Right, as babies. So, like, I've got in my WhatsApp folder with my wife, it's basically at this point an archive of, like, the last 10 years of their life.
That's lovely.
And you can just go back and find a video and they'll want to watch all these videos. But when I first load up WhatsApp, because used to, shoot friends, like, you're always near the top, or, like, there'll be our little group. And, like, Josh just the other day went, Adam Wilborn, Michael Sidgwick. And I was like, yeah, but we're not going to those chats. Jesus Christ.
No.
Go that family one, right?
It's a full JY.
Yeah, go that family one.
No, never.
No videos from there. But yeah, so I think like there might come a day where they engage with the content, and if they do, I'll be pointing them to this.
When they're 18 years old.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Dad, what's that yellow text? I say, well, it's directly related to the video. It's not clickbait, son.
They DIY bump into...
I'm explaining to you what that means. Millions of people don't get it.
Miz. They said, look, I know we've had our issues in the past.
Trusty the Clown thing. AEW between October and November was really quite poor. Yeah, those content creators aren't good. Yeah, like Tony Khan created that content and, you know, he wasn't very good at his job for 2 months. No. No, that's not how it works. I think fine it is. So...
Guy says we had our issues, but last week the match was great.
We all our careers we've been too biased towards WWE. That's what people always said. That's what people definitely said between 2017 and 2022. Yeah. If anything, we were too pro WWE. Didn't read that every single day.
Was you in the point of like imagine comparing the WWF in 2000 to WCW and thinking, come on guys, gotta be fair at WCW. Can you imagine? Can you imagine people doing that?
I remember on the forums, in 99, the last people holding out when like Nitro had gone grey. And like even the big stars were like, I don't want to be near this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you can put the belt on Sid, I'm off. Like there was still some like people saying, I'm sure they'll turn it round. That's how wrestling works, right? And
no. No. Jay White.
No.
Ciampa says, hey, it wasn't great last week. It was awesome.
Love these.
Jackie Redmond shows up and chats to Miz. Miz says, look, Imperium's cracking. I've rattled Gunther. I'm finishing what I've started. I'm going to become a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. I think this was the point around here that they mentioned Chris Jericho.
Aye. The Miz, again, for a man that is clearly ecstatic with his achievements in pro wrestling, he tells you every week, just like tell me a lie for a few weeks that what he really wants was this all along. And I'll buy it.
So then we got the match. It was The Miz challenging Gunther. His last chance, of course. If he loses this, he can never fight for the IC title again, whilst Gunther is champion. And I think you nailed it when you said on social media, this is the match they should have had at Survivor Series.
Yeah. Gunther has a weird PLE record as opposed to his TV one.
Yeah.
He's a Raw guy.
So he just batters Miz early on with the chops. Miz catches him in a leg lock, though. Gunther gets to the ropes and just chops him outside the ring, powerbombs him onto the apron to take us through a break. Miz fires back after the break. Gunther just goes, that's a nice fire-up spot, and boots him in the face. Gunther mocks him, cuts off another comeback with a chop. Miz tries a springboard crossbody part of another comeback, but Gunther just catches him, puts him on the top rope, and does that bit where he bends him over the turnbuckle with his foot, basically. Chops him. But on the outside, Miz ducks a chop and Gunther chops the ring post, hurts his hand, and that takes us to a break. When we come back, Miz, as a result of Gunther's injury, has a bit more of opportunity here. Low DDT, regular DDT, tilt-a-whirl DDT for a near fall. Runs out of the corner, but Gunther hits him with a drop kick and a powerbomb for 2. He puts him in a Boston Crab, but Miz gets the ropes, partially because Gunther's hand's just not really working anymore. Gunther chopped Miz, and Miz is like, bring it on, Buster. And so Gunther tries to put him in a sleeper. Miz transitions that into a cradle for a nice 2 count. And Miz kicks Gunther's injured hand, hits a skull-crushing finale, gets a 2 count.
Oh, my God.
Kind of like, one more time. They're getting into this here. Miz tries some more kicks. Gunther hits him with a clothesline. Gunther goes up top, but Miz kicks the rope into his hand and hits a second rope skull-crushing finale. And I thought,
I'll do this on your behalf, Hamflet.
Oh my God.
I thought, that's it. Gunther's losing the title, but as Miz crawled for the cover, Gunther desperately rolled to the outside, and the crowd like, boo!
The heat for that. Like, how dare you, Gunther, you bastard?
It felt like a big match.
10,000 people. Oh, my God.
It felt like a really big match,
Yeah.
this, and this is me saying I'm no fan of The Miz whatsoever.
Miz rolls Gunther back into the ring, but as Miz comes back in, Gunther immediately grabs him, powerbombs him, clothesline, another powerbomb, 1, 2, 3, Gunther retains.
Can I go first?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're going to be way more excited about this, right? Even as the crowd was getting just carried away, like completely willing to suspend their disbelief collectively, and you could literally measure their investment in this match by the amount of noise that they made and the volume level, right? Okay. I still watched it and thought, oh, that kick was rubbish. Why are you kicking him? And like, someone kicked me like there. There's a fleshy bit there. It's like kicks in the face. You want to knock me down, you know? And he's like, it's really, like, there's nothing behind the hips. And he's just planted a foot in a really fleshy part of Gunther's body. And Gunther's selling for it. And my very pedantic brain and my, quite frankly, ingrained lack of respect for the Miz's craft just took me out of it at that moment. And at various others, if I'm being honest, right? Take my personal feelings out of the equation in terms of, and wrestling's always so subjective, of course, as with every art form. It's just as close to his objective over delivery as you're going to get. This, like, I don't necessarily have this opinion, and, you know, certain of the critics do, where, oh, it worked for the crowd, therefore, like, 4.5-star match. Is it? Or did I not like it that much? And for me, it was nowhere near, right? But if you did subscribe to that, there's like a kernel of truth to that take and credibility to that method of rating wrestling matches, even if I don't personally subscribe to it, because the people in that building thought The Miz was going to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title. And it was more for me, and I know this is, again, totally subjective, but it was more for me than a performative. I have been conditioned to think that an avalanche variation of a finish, and indeed just a finish, is going to go 1, 2. It's fun to be there. But the whole idea of professional wrestling, as I understand it, right, even if it markets itself as sports entertainment, is if you make the crowd go banana, you've pretty much got them and you've succeeded. And the whole point is, the whole point of professional wrestling, and this is why, like, people who don't get it just will never get it. there are certain people, for whatever reason, it was Paul Heyman who probably articulated this best. You either get it or you don't. And I'm very much, my mission is to put on a product for those who do get it. That was one of his big sayings, right? For those who get it, for those WWE fans, it just felt like I was listening to them suspend their disbelief, and that's the whole exact point. So I would argue that at least on this night, The Miz absolutely does in fact get professional wrestling, or at least he got it here. A monumental assist by Gunther. You ever see the Newcastle-Everton game? Not this season, don't talk about that. But the last season game where our striker Isaac basically takes on 3 players, goes to the byline, and imagine like doing keepy-ups on a rope above, like suspended between 2 buildings. That's how difficult his trickery was. Then he's just passed it to someone who's just done a tap in from the center. Maybe that was the level of assist from Gunther here because he's just that great. But I saw through the work. My dickhead brain couldn't get overwhelmed by the drama. But my God, what about 10,000 people did? Yeah. One of the biggest in this isn't saying much for me personally, because I wouldn't even put this in the top 50 TV matches of the year. But this is probably the night of the Miz's professional in-ring life. It's
Miz's best match ever. It's better than the Ziggler match and those other 2. 20 years. I love him, but I can say that. You know, like it's this, I want it to feel real. Like, and when I say real, I mean real within the rules of pro wrestling.
Real, adhering to its own emotional logic. You're not asking for the UWFI.
No. This was the answer to the complaint I have when wrestling's happening in front of me, when I'm just watching wrestlers wrestle. It's been a bit of a sort of bone of contention, I would say, with the amount that we watch and what we cover. And I think it's creeping through to people who can pick and choose the wrestling they watch, quite honestly. But certainly within our space, like I watch a lot. Like, what's the difference between that 3 and that 3 1/4, or that 2 and 3? Almost nothing. And did I feel anything for any of them? No. I felt absolutely loads for this. Tell you what, I think Sidge is right to point out the flaws in the execution, because that's you're watching a Miz match, aren't you? You kind of invited.
I can never get past it personally.
Right? I think Bret Hart would find loads of fault with the execution and almost none with the layout.
The layout was clever and the drama was literally undeniable.
This was Gunther versus The Miz. This was not a wrestling match between 2 wrestlers. This was not Minoru Suzuki's grey lumps. This was not even, like, I'm not going to name names, but, like, we can all think of those wrestlers that can just be relied upon to go out there and get it done. Like, this was Gunther versus The Miz, and it could be nothing else, and I absolutely love that. When this match got booked, we had all them fights, it was like, for me, there was only 2 ways you could do this match. Gunther crushes him, like a bug under his foot, or this.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed when we were 5 minutes into the Survivor Series and we weren't getting this, because like, this is the potential for this match. This is absolutely the potential. Gunther is so friggin' intelligent. Not only does he know how to destroy people as Gunther, he's also the best at understanding how that he can be made weak.
The balance is impossible, but he gets there.
I'm going to use a Bret Hart comparison again. I would compare the layout to this, to how Bret Hart would work Yokozuna, right? Bret Hart can find a gap or find a mistake that Yokozuna makes and isolates that, just as The Miz did here with Gunther's chop too far, because then every time he invited Gunther to chop him, he's like, I can absorb a weaker chop and it's going to hurt him. And again, that's like, you've got to credit, and I'm not sort of discrediting The Miz here, but you've got to credit Gunther with that for understanding how his offense makes people feel in the building. So if I do this to you and I'm already hurting, like, that gets you over too. And then you look like a strategist, and you might just be The Miz, but people can buy you with something more because you've been at this 20 years. So you've been through, they'll know that you've been through every version of a wrestling match, that you've got this in your locker, even if you don't use it all the time. When Bret was being the excellence of execution against Yoko, he would be getting cut off all the time because Yoko's freeing 600 pounds, and all it takes is one body block and a leg drop, and then Bret's down again for 5 more minutes. But he'll leave a little gap, and in Bret will slide, and in The Miz slid here. There were so many little moments where you thought, oh, right, are we going to get like 5 minutes of Gunther control? No, The Miz has fought back. But you only get about a minute and a half of The Miz getting advantage because it's still Gunther. Like, oh, you've lost the advantage again. Never mind. It'd be like playing somebody really class at computer games at like a Mortal Kombat. You might actually take control at it, but then they're better. So they're going to, and then it's like, oh, you, like, if your energy bar hasn't quite run out, you need to just capitalize that 1 minute where you've jumped over their attack and hit them with a special or something. And The Miz hit his specials and so nearly got it done because that's how it should play out. I honestly, like, I don't really like dealing star ratings, but this was as flawless a Miz Gunther match as you were going to get.
Yeah.
And wrestlers, and I include The Miz in this, a guy that is the the dictionary definition of generic WWE, this highlights that even generic WWE guys can have identity in there with the right people. Gunther's an all-timer. And I think it's matches like this that prove it more than the classics against the guys that could also be all-timers. I loved this.
This is really effective juxtaposition in a homogenized world when everything's very, very samey. Like, Triple H had a good idea here, ultimately. Yeah. And, you know, this is just a little bit different to a lot of fare that you see nowadays.
That thought, watching this, were they going to have this match at Survivor Series? And they went, the Punker's coming back. I'll just save it for telly then. I was going to talk about it.
He likes his Gunther rematches.
He likes his mid-matches on PLEs. Yeah. Triple H. It's weird.
Like the Gable rematch was better than the 5-minute challenge they had to kind of set it up and stuff like that. And I think there was a better... Did Gunther have a mid one against Riddle and then a much better one on Raw? Was it Riddle? Anyway,
it was a good one on paper because he had the injured ankle.
That wasn't good though. It was 8 minutes. It one-sided. It wasn't the match you thought you were going to get out of them. So. Anyway, let's not speak that guy's name anymore. Don't have to.
I think this is an example of how you do. This is one of them like watch the tape in the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Because what you haven't got doesn't have to be the end.
Yeah.
We get a video package on the Creed brothers, who are obviously fighting for the title in the main event. And then Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci are backstage with Gunther, congratulate him on his win. He's like, I don't know why you're so bloody happy. I'm the only one contributing to this group. Last year's been a complete write-off for you. Rubbish 2023. I'm going away for a few weeks to recharge. You stay here, grind, work, bloody impress me. And he storms off. And they're in a bit of a mood. But thankfully, here comes Kofi Claus, who's like, hey, guys. Ludwig's like, piss off, please. And Kofi Claus is like, I've got your gift. He pulls out. It's cold because you've been naughty. Huge pap in the Wilborn household. Shinsuke Nakamura is reading The American Nightmare Before Christmas. See what they've done there?
I saw what people have done on social media as well. Distance themselves from how crap this was.
What's that? This was... Oh, Cody's tweet to Brandon. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
It was the week before Christmas, and out from my mouth came a warning to Cody that Shinsuke would pounce while your daughter is nestled all snug in her bed and visions of championships, that was written in gold, dance through your head. Shinsuke is plotting to live out your story, to ruin your plans, extinguish your glory. The nightmare is over. The nightmare is through. The mist burns its eyes, for the nightmare is you. You bastard, you cancer, you prancer, you nitwit. You'll vomit, you're stupid. Your father was inbred. My goal is to see that you're living in fright. Merry Christmas to you. I will be your last fight. Cody Rhodes, kindly enough, lets him finish the Nightmare Before Christmas before running and attacking him. They brawl out into the arena. Security keeps separating them, and Cody jumps over and knocks everyone over. Eventually, he gets Nakamura set up on the table for a crossroads until the security saves him. Nakamura backs off. Let them fight is chanted, and basically Cody says this isn't over.
This is, right, exactly why WWE has haters. It's true. Yep. This is very much aura-destroying, undoing a lot of quite good work. This is absolutely trash, horrific creative writing. If you want to know why WWE has haters, it's because of this segment. This was so putrid, and people involved knew it as well. I was cringing. The old Schadenfreude was like, oh, still.
Yeah, it was rubbish. It's, again, like not...
Very, very bad.
There's plenty of people who don't watch WWE regularly, right? And Shinsuke Nakamura is not this guy that I particularly feel the need to fight for. But hypothetically, you could isolate weeks and say, probably the best it's ever been. Low bar, main roster, but probably the best... Really low bar, actually. But probably the best it's ever been on the main roster is this recent run of his. They're finally like permitting him to have like subtitled promos, which helps in the confidence of his delivery. He's main evented a couple of shows and been considered somebody that Cody winning is a scalp. So they've done something right, and people have been given credit the matches, even if I haven't seen them. And then those haters or those casual MP4 viewers are like, what have they done with Shinsuke Nakamura? It's still the worst company that's ever been. Like, this was, like, again, I'm going to use it again, dictionary definition of terrible WWE.
Yeah.
This felt like if you were sort of fantasy booking and plotting out week by week by week, and it gets on the week 4 on the whiteboard, well, bedtime story week. It doesn't have to be.
Work with Joe. I liked it when Joe did it.
And again, like, I didn't love that then, but I could see why people were enjoying doing it. That, like, I want us to get past the elevate bad material era, rather than just keep it in there. And
I said at the start of the show, this was a defiantly WWE television show. The difference now is that it was really, really well received and at times quite well executed. This was defiantly WWE. This only in WWE would you get something as bizarrely terrible as this.
We still do this. Eat it.
Yeah. And man, you two were like, nom, nom, nom.
Just before we get the women's tag title match, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven pop in, see Postman Pearce and ask if they do have to defend their titles. Yep. And Bronson Reed wants Bronson Reed wants to chat about the IC title as well. So that's coming, which will be awesome. They wish Trish Stratus a happy birthday, and then it's time for Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Caden Carter and Katana Chance, who are taking a break from partying to challenge for the women's tag team titles. Chance and Carter actually take control early on because it's Chelsea Green they're in there with. Love Chelsea, but that's the role she plays in this tag team. Piper Niven comes in and destroys them. She gets set up, though, in the after party. Green breaks that up, and Niven just takes them both out as we go to a break. When we come back, Carter fights back. Makes a cover on Chelsea Green. Piper tries to break it up with this splash, but Carter moves, so Green is the one who gets splashed. Carter hits a springboard leg drop. That gets a 2 count. Green hits Carter with a code breaker, holds her in place on her knees. Niven hits a senton, but Katana dives in at the last second to break up the cover. Chance and Carter team up, hit Niven with I think it's called the keg stand. Green just gets in there to break up the cover.
Giger.
It looks like Chance is going to get hit with an unprettier, but she reverses that into a code breaker. And then they hit Green with the after party, that neck breaker 450 for the 1, 2, 3. Carter and Chance are your new women's tag team's champions.
I tell you what, the nicest thing I can say about this match is that they got a hot minute at the end. They got a hot minute at the end when the old title switch pop, right?
Yeah.
They got a hot minute at the end. I didn't say it was a good minute. So it was a hot minute. A dramatic minute, a loud minute, a hot minute, not a good minute. The work here was pretty poor. Pretty poor. I think it's already been isolated by someone on X, but they do a hip toss block where just like it looks literally like they are out of step in a dance routine. Doesn't look like there's any sort of struggle there at all. It was just the kind of move you do where you don't actually understand the physics behind it. You just know to do the move and not the meaning behind it. That looked bad. A lot of the aerials, like the press components of some of the high risk moves, which were never really sold. It's like risks, and we must do this. They were just existing, and the impact is just very, very, very tepid, loose action. Not good. This division's in the bin, but they got up for it at the end.
For now, it's in the bin.
For now, it's come up on this podcast before. I quite like the Fed, but is there anything? Is there other than, I can only think of Premier League referees, right, where the market leader in something can be the worst at it? Because this match was so poor in places, and every now and then there's a match on Raw. There was one last week. Like, every now and then there was a match on Raw where you just think, like, if you bought, like, Adidas shoes and they just fell apart on the first day, like, I don't think Adidas are at the top of the tree. And, like,
it's like, weird.
It's so, like, and I like this, that 2020, it's the best in 23 years, it is. How was this? This was really rubbish. Like, really quite poor.
Really, really piss poor. Actively piss poor at various times. And the weird thing is, it's like they have this compound, this
nice word,
building that exists as Minoru Suzuki, keeping me out of a job with the best takes in wrestling critique, fundamentally exists to make solid above average professional wrestlers. Very few of which have got this really unique working style or this like sort of edge to their personality, which is why someone like Punk comes in and he's just so like radiant. How do you get action this bad when they drill generic and solid into you day after day after day? Weird, crap, bad.
You never guess what they did afterwards. Bloody went out to party, didn't they? With Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Meanwhile, Natalia...
Well, they got to celebrate.
Yeah, fair call.
I mean, it's characters.
Terrible year for the characters.
Yeah, but to be fair, you feel like they're picking up the tab, aren't you? And it's like a free night out.
I guess so.
And Natalia and Tegan Knox tell Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, looks like they need new challenges, and there's a face-off, and I go...
It look like it'd be doesn't like it'd be a fun party, does it? Look like the vibes would go off pretty quickly.
Get to Kabuki Warriors and the Iconics and Sasha Banks and Bayley.
I hope you're right in this fantasy book and the Kabuki Warriors just kick their ass. They just absolutely batter them.
Or maybe they can be corrupted as well. Isla Dawn and
Oh yeah,
Alba Fire. That's not party drink. That's good.
We placed a curse on the belts and forgot about it.
Put a curse on them and turn them into solid citizens.
In amongst all this, by the way, Ivy Niles in the back, training with Alpha Academy, and says, I've asked for a match with Ripley and become champion in 2024. And Kira Tozawa, what's he like, shows up and says, I've got myself a match as well against Ivar. And they're like, what? And then we got the match, Ivar against Akira Tozawa. It was an extended squash. There was brief moments where Tozawa got like a spike DDT in, but Ivar missed a top rope splash, and Tozawa did the Hulk Hogan shirt rip. We get into it on the floor between Valhalla and Maxime Dupri. That allows Tozawa to hit a top rope backsplash for 2, but Ivar kicks him in the head. Moonsault gets broken up, so instead he just hits him with the world's strongest slam.
It's very funny you mention Earthquake, because I was thinking about where exactly Ivar fits at the moment, and it echoes a little bit. Like, Earthquake was kicking ass, and then he lost the Hulkster, and it's like, what are you still doing here, Earthquake? And then he found Typhoon, and the disasters came along. Like, I love Ivar. I do. I love this run, but it's not like they're going with him. So when the Viking Raiders are back, I think they're going to be a different proposition as a result of the singles run, but the Ivar singles dream might be over.
Yeah, I would say so. Have him lose to Gunther first before you do anything else.
What type of match would you have between him and Gunther? If Ivar got to pick a stipulation,
it'd have to be a Viking rules match, of course.
I'm trying to chop the boat.
Yeah, I was going to say, like the big
chop the boat, dragons. Don't rock the boat. Gunther,
like the big dragon they have on the front of a Viking ship. He chops it and that falls off.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Chops the dragon's neck and fire comes out. It's like, oh no, it's burnt me.
Happy birthday, Stone Cold Steve Austin, as well. And Seth Rollins comes out next. Gets a great reaction. Home state, of course. Says, I'm motivated more than ever to be the best champion in the entire industry. I'm excited for 2024. It starts with day one, defending my title against Drew McIntyre.
Even the best champion on Mondays. Is he?
I'm excited about being the best champion on the day of the week. Not even that. On a show with tag team champions Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
He's got Gunther on it, though.
Yeah.
This brings out Drew. And Rollins says, by the way, I haven't forgotten about you headbutting me a few weeks ago. Tread lightly. And McIntyre says, I'm not here to fight. I've got my match, so I'm not bothered. I want to tell you I'm proud of you, by the way. Everyone's kissing CM Punk's ass. You told him to his face the truth. You're a true leader. You must be on top of the world. It must feel good knowing that, hey, Christmas time, spend some time with the family. I went home recently and I felt a bit guilty. Saw my dad, he's getting older. For the first time in 16 years, I began to wonder if it's all worth it. And I know you can relate. Your wife's in the same boat as me, sacrificing every day away from your family. I know you've been part of those conversations, missing weddings, about wanting to not let the fans down. You miss funerals, things like that.
It's not going to a wedding. Gonna miss some show in I don't know, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be a nice place.
It's just what
it's just our
those places, aren't they?
Yeah. It's nothing personal. The denizens of Little Rock, Arkansas. It's got little in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you dream up quintessential small time plays? Doesn't really get many big.
Like Boise, Idaho, but then they've got those potatoes, so they're great too.
Mm.
All places have got nice things. Waynesville had a go at Delaware, and I'm sure there's something nice in Delaware.
I'm sure there is.
Don't know what.
Friends and family tell you, hey, don't come home. Keep chasing that dream. And then you miss things and people aren't here anymore. I don't want your title, Seth. I need it. I need to know that the sacrifices are worth it. I'm willing to hurt you to take it. Rollins says, look, I want to believe you, but your actions don't align with your words. I respect you for earning another shot, but I don't understand why you think it's going to be any different this time. I've seen you're willing to lie and cheat and take shortcuts, but you're not willing to do the one thing you need to do, and that's take responsibility for your actions. Look yourself in the mirror. Face the reality. The only person keeping you from being champion is you. I told another man last week, says Seth, I hate him. I meant what I said. I don't hate you, though. I pity you. Merry Christmas. He goes to leave. Seen a few weeks. Goes to leave. McIntyre tries to attack him. Rollins obviously sees this coming. Goes after him outside the ring. But McIntyre shoves him into the barricade and hits a reverse Alabama slam onto the steel steps. Rollins sells the arm to close out this segment.
I like the finish. The physicality was good.
Yeah.
It looked like he missed, but then he realised what he was doing. Bit exposition-y, weirdly enough, this dialogue. Well-delivered exposition to build a match that instantly, as of last week, I'll get this one out of the way. Get that one out of the way because the Punk is coming for that belt.
That's That's it.
That's the problem with the Punk. I'm telling you, man.
It's a booking challenge. They've set themselves with this specifically for now, haven't they? Because
we booked it perfectly on the Raw preview yesterday. CM Punk on commentary on day one.
Oh my God! Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes, please. I've been listening to an Office podcast with Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, and they're reviewing every episode of The Office. And it's great because they were there and they've got like loads of great insights. And they talk about how one of the successes of the writing teams was they would all, and this might be the case with all TV shows, I don't know, but in the writers' room, they had a constant rolling, like no bad ideas, write on a card, stick it on a wall. It might come to nothing. It might come to something that really builds into the show. It might just be something that's great for one of them cold opens or the little tags at the end of the episode. They use the example of like beach games where like Michael Scott wants to do a Survivor type thing, goes on the board as an ideas card, and then eventually there's a job element of it, and it's like, we can make a whole episode about this, and it can be Pam's moment of empowerment. And what started off funny, them doing Survivor, that kind of thing. It occurred to me in this promo that that's been one of Triple H's like weird, I don't even know if Sid you call it a strength, it's exposition, but like one of his weird strengths, I think, is like stuff goes on the board. So like Drew McIntyre sad at missing family events. It's like, we don't know when we're going to use that.
Yeah.
But there might one day be a time we can. It's like, we got anything for that's still on the board. Drew McIntyre, like they've got this Drew McIntyre character, and what's like 6 things that this version of the Drew McIntyre character can use to manipulate, and as part of the way his character's changed, like sad at missing family. Well, like Seth's married to Becky, so he gets it, so he can relate. Let's use that. I've noticed that, like that he finds links that you wouldn't have necessarily thought about. Some are more successful than others. The Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn one was amazing. Sami saying, mate, I lived the exact same life as you.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get past this. I lived the same path of events. And like Drew here, like all of it can still, I believe they've got these cards because everything is rooted with the original one. Like this Drew talking about, I've missed weddings, I worry about my dad's health. That's why he's pissed off that the Bloodline screwed him in Cardiff, because look what it would have been.
Yeah.
Like, look what could have been for him. And it's like, I believe that a structure like that exists where these characters are being thought about in it might not be an idea for today, but keep it there because one day you'll link Drew with this wrestler and that can be the link.
I knock WWE's plotting for being quite A to B, and sure enough, C comes after that, and say they basically establish a premise that creates conflict between 2 characters and then goes through the Rolodex of the segments that they do, whether it's a verbal spar like this followed by a beatdown, whether it's a interference or running in a match. Like, it's all very familiar and repetitive. The beats of every story are the same, even if the premises are different. They are really quite good at establishing the premise in the first place. I will give them that. And there's been a lot of that with Drew in particular, because by WWE standards, he's a really well-rounded character.
That's the trick. If you actually book 3-dimensional characters, you've got so much more to play with, haven't you?
Cody Rhodes thanks the Creed brothers for their help last week. They love the fact that he knows who they are, and he wishes them luck for the tag title match later.
There's a little bit of the old fealty here. Like Dolph Ziggler, of all people, called this the Gratitude Era, when the stars of were the wrestlers of his generation.
Got him.
Were basically
Take that, hundreds of guys.
were instructed to go on these network specials, like the top 50 greatest moments ever, and go, oh my God, remember when Austin drove the Zambini? Oh my God, I was 14 years old and I lost my mind. And you'll never do the top 50 with Dolph Ziggler being 40 on anything. What is it?
Sorry. It's called a Zamboni. We have the guy, Cedric loves his beans, so he's made a bean-shaped Zamboni. Austin on a bean.
Lightly roasted Zambini.
Like the Miz having viewing parties, and then he sprayed the McMahons with the hose. It had beer in it.
All my friends at the schoolyard the next day in recess, and then in homeroom, and then in home ec. We were all talking about that. So I always hated. I just found them so reduced. You are the people who don't get matches at WrestleMania because the prehistoric versions of these guys come back, and you are just not like. It's lesser than them. You're not as good as them. This is a little bit of an echo to have the Creeds be like fawning over Cody Rhodes. Just there's very much a hierarchy in WWE, and I kind of whenever I see it, I then remember the process. You gotta earn your dues, kid.
Yeah, you can do an alliance.
Respect the business.
You can do an alliance, a new friendship without the fawning, can't you?
Yes,
like I want Cody and the Creeds versus Imperium, for example.
I think
like
Cody and the Creeds. I was talking. It was either on the preview or last week. Like Cody Rhodes on BTE is an intense dickhead jock character against like Flip Gordon and various other bits when he would just lose his head, like that kind of jock.
Yeah,
was
because he was one
amazing. The Xavier Woods story.
When he nicks his lass at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
It's like, pulls a strike and just takes her away.
Like, amazing stuff. I wanted those energies to combine.
Yeah.
As equals. But, yeah. Bad start for the probably great idea it will end up being.
Kofi Claus is back, chucking merch into the crowd, but he's attacked. Oh, no, by Kaiser and Vinci, but who comes out to make the save? But Jey Uso, to set up Jey Uso versus Ludwig Kaiser.
Skip.
Yeah, I can see this one coming. Kofi Claus attacks Giovanni Vinci.
Skip.
So Jey hit,
People can go on, like, other websites for the result.
Jey hit Kaiser with the spear and Uso splash for the 1,
3
2,
ups
3.
and downs. Shut up, man. I'm hungry now.
Enough of all that. It's now time for this.
It's short, it's crap, it's wrestling related. The 5-star review. Nailed it!
And this week's 5-star review is brought to you by Nathan Payne. If you want to suggest
I'm
something,
going to say Nathan Fraser.
if you want to suggest something short, crap, and wrestling related, you can do so on Apple Podcasts or leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify. Screenshot it
We need the proof.
and email it to me, adam.wilborn@whatculture.com, which is exactly what Nathan Payne's done. Nathan writes, "Hi Adam, hope all's well with you, the family, hey guys, and your actual family, of course. I was wondering if you'd be able to help me re-gift my brother a birthday present. He dedicated a 5-star review back in June for me for my birthday, and I'd like to repay the favor. Could you please shout out Connor Payne for his 22nd birthday? Thank him for being
Happy birthday, Connor.
Happy birthday, Connor.
Thank you for being just the best brother anyone could ask for. He's my best mate, and most
Aw,
importantly,
that's nice.
we've both been here since the What Culture Extra days."
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Been a profound cornerstone in your life.
Love this line.
As you have in ours, realistically. Yeah.
Love this line. He's about 6'1", physically fit, great at football, has a lovely girlfriend and grows a better beard than me. But if you can think about anything to rip the piss out of him for, I'd be more than grateful.
So what's his name?
Connor.
You subscribe to What Culture Extra.
Surname? Anything with
You
that?
and Colton.
But then, but
What's his
Nathan
surname?
Payne.
Oh, then we'd be like yourself. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, tell us something bad about him.
Sounds like he's got nothing,
6'1", is that it? I'm 6'3", so.
if
Are
anything.
you 6'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not 6'1". And you are tall. Yeah, that checks out. Tall guy.
Another lad code. He always had an extra inch.
Hey, Connor, what's the weather like down there? I don't know. For my 5-star review,
Yeah, it's always quite cold.
could you please review Ricky Hatton guest hosting Monday Night Raw? Now, we have the Chavo Guerrero fight on this, but Nathan suggests Triple H and HBK in their worst DX run being super cool, super manly, and we've got massive hogs boy poppers at Jericho's expense. The comments are a bit naff, so I'll hand it over to you to find some gold somewhere else. I have. Funny story about this. We're big Manchester City fans in the Payne household. Sorry to hear that. And
Hey. Calm down. My son supports Man City.
Oh, yes.
Glory Hunter. I think I'll go with the team who are on the precipice of the treble.
Yeah, but at least, the
No,
Payne
you know what the
household.
crack is, though? He just likes Jack Grealish.
Yes.
I don't know if I've told you this, right? Man City, before they got finished about 3 weeks ago, beat someone like 5-1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Doku, the left forward, got like 4 assists. And I was like, James, man, you just won 5-1 or whatever it was. He said, oh, that's good. I was like, Doku got 4 assists. He had a meltdown because he's taking Grealish's spot on the team. So he hates Doku and he hates City when they don't play Grealish. He just loves Jack Grealish a great deal. What a lovely guy and role model, though.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish.
Yes. Our dad took some interest as he saw Ricky Hatton being advertised for this show on Sky Sports News. He lasted about all of a minute and said he's never watching this crap again. Have a great Christmas. Thank you for another
What year was it?
It was 2009.
Oh, brutal. I tell you what. Maybe if you watched it on Saturday mornings on SmackDown, watch CM Punk and Jeff Hardy do their thing.
Yeah.
That feud was absolutely spectacular from beginning to end.
It's 2009, just after Sven at City, feels like.
They weren't moneyed by then. I know that they weren't. Or were they mini money?
Yeah, they mini money.
Yeah.
Mini money.
Yeah.
Have a great Christmas. Thank you all for the top year of content. Can't wait until you bring the live show down south. We will be there. Cheers, Nathan. P.S. Tell Hamlet I'm glad he managed to get some hours in on Fight Forever.
Nathan, the Manchester City sort of triggered something in the memory. Fight Forever came to mind when Wilborn was speaking there. Nathan works in games and in gaming. He has like cool links, that sort of stuff. And we had some messages at the time about Fight Forever. I haven't played it much since the first couple of months, but that feels like it's quite a familiar story of other people online.
It's weird when people talk about it, like when that $90 DLC or whatever came out. I was like, that game existed.
There's real anger about daring to charge people all over him, wasn't there? It was really, really fun first few weeks. I smashed the career mode on like the first night. And then
never played a single second of it. Never played a single second. And then when I thought, do you want to? Do you want to use birthday money for this? Or ask for Christmas? I know beans. Let's get some beans.
I'm picturing like the bread, cheese, tomato, tin of beans. Not even out the tin. Straight on.
Coffee beans, asshole.
Yeah. So 0708 was Sven-Goran Eriksson's era. And Thaksin Shinawatra, that's the one we were thinking of.
Mini money.
0809 was, it changed. And then there was Mark Hughes. And then 0910 was Mark Hughes. Thanks. Roberto Mancini.
I remember that. They beat us on the day that he was getting told he was losing his job. Still,
I remember that.
Someone's coming, I still beat them. Can I not keep my job?
Middle of December, because I was working on the crew for the Panto. And we came upstairs to watch Sky Sports News in one of the breaks. And he was like,
yeah, there were like 3 guys.
And you were like, yeah, see you later, Mark. Roberto Mancini's in the crowd. Take us back. You were literally there.
I was. I went to, me and my cousin went to the UK, like the November-October TV tapings.
Shout out to Hamlet's cousin, by the way. He's a great guy.
Nick, Nick's cool. A good lad.
Cooler than Hamlet.
By orders of magnitude. And we survived a lot of these TV tapings and we tapped out in 2009. Like, some good moments. SmackDown was better than Raw in that kind of, it's the real wrestling for the real fans. Go Raw.
That program was unbelievable.
It really had, like, the Punk and Jeff Hardy stuff was amazing.
I think it's some of the best stuff that promotion has ever done.
We've been known, you have to catch it, you have to listen to every single minute like the Spotify ones. We've been known to crack the odd joke about Jeff Hardy. But like, of those years going to those UK shows, he was typically one of the best on the SmackDown nights. He'd work his absolute arse off. And he was involved, like,
how did he do it?
I saw him pin The Undertaker and Triple H on one taping. We went to a double SmackDown once. It's like, they're going all the way with him. And then Triple H was like, no, I don't think so. Oh, they bloody beat me. See you next month, Jeff.
What's it like?
Well, every dog has his day.
It was like for the world title of one contender. So Triple H just killed for that. And he's like, bloody beat me. Well done, Jeff. Like, but yeah, like when they would go with Jeff and you were in the building, I get it. This guy he's the real deal.
Do you get it?
Do you get it?
Yes, Jeff.
Hey, CM, I think you're a pawn. You get it? Like, so, yeah, good stuff here and there. ECW, oddly, was just a weird thing to experience live, like the new ECW in person, but this was so we did about 4 years of this, and this was the last year. We kind of came out of these tapings. So we're kind of going to be the last guys to go at these.
What was this? I'll guess. Was this the opening show promo by any chance?
Guest host era.
DX Jericho, guest host.
They pivoted, didn't they, from the guest host being on the arms of the Bellas to work in matches with DX and Jericho.
Yeah, because they had, what's his name? The ginger, your man, Seth Green.
Oh, God. The little guy in there. By which I mean the ring.
Yes.
That's what a normal person looks like next to a
He was in the 1998 miniseries.
Was he?
Seth Green, yeah.
So Triple H on
so
the
he's
line.
goated in my books. That's one of the best things ever made.
He says, what part of this aren't you guys getting? How many times you got to do the same thing over and over again before you get where it's going? You come out here all the time, you interrupt the GMs, you mess with Shaquille O'Neal, you got humiliated in front of the whole world.
Who are you doing here?
Triple H. And he says, and you're no better. You came out here, you messed with an 85-year-old Bob Barker, and he pulled your punk card. Is that a little, or is that just a American?
That's just Americanism, I think.
Yeah.
Are you, in your recap of this, by the way, I'm going off memory here. Are you going to mention to Sidgwick what Triple H is wearing on his T-shirt?
Oh, I've forgotten.
Because I have a memory of this, and it's like...
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Sidge, what's on the back of Triple H's T-shirt when on the front, it's got the DX Army?
It's way more of a SmackDown guy during this period.
So was Jim Ross.
Is that clue? Is that a clue?
No.
So it doesn't say tits
DX.
then.
DX.
Sort of a clue. Roundabout way.
DX
If
Army.
you get this right, I've got a follow-up question.
So DX Army. Let's think about Army stuff.
Army, I don't know, but I've been told. Sucking cock, man, I'm hurt. Sucking cock and getting old.
Not sucking my cock.
Yeah.
And getting old.
It did not have that on the back of the T-shirt.
Okay,
It was available at the
so I
shop.
think you get 3
Two more-
guesses,
Yeah, you got 2 more guesses.
They like talking about getting their cock sucked.
They do.
DX. So I thought that would feature on the back of the T-shirt.
Apologies for this. I'm thinking alliteration. Okay. I realise this is probably the wrong era for DX for this. But didn't they have...
Cocked, locked, and ready to load.
Ooh. I was going to have... titles, tanks, and tits. That was going to be
Cocked,
right.
locked, and ready to load.
No.
Have they ever said that once though?
Yeah.
Probably the tank stuff.
Aye, tank stuff.
Air quote tank.
People like a super soaker, didn't they? Like it's got
Yeah.
locked and it's not water inside it.
Yeah.
There's gallons of jizz. Were you wanking at that all week, lads? Because that's gross.
To be fair, between Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on commentary, there was enough to fill it.
I don't know. What do they have on the back?
Well, see, I'm gonna have to ask Sidge a question here because it says Sidge, DX Army on the front, on the back, world's biggest member. So does that? So I was like,
that Big Show?
Triple H is the leader of DX, and because he's jacked again, suspiciously, like physically, is he the biggest member of the DX Army, Sidge?
Well, surely Shaquille O'Neal would be.
There is a double entendre.
What?
Double meaning.
Oh,
So it says one thing. To be a member of the army,
yes.
but member also means you cack. So he's in saying that, it's like he's got the biggest cock in the world, which is half right. He is the biggest cock in the world, but I don't necessarily think he has the biggest cock in the world.
That's doubly funny then. Because Shawn Michaels was wearing a T-shirt.
I
with
think he thinks he does.
He was wearing a T-shirt with like DX, but like loads of flags. It was obviously the DX European tour shirt, and it was DX on tour, whatever. And I love the idea that Shawn's like, well, oh wait, Paul, put the world tour shirt on, we're flogging them. And he's like, I don't think so. And people now got a massive dick, Shawn.
Yes.
And it ain't made of plastic.
And they had the caps on. And they had the caps on backwards, of course. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is as well, it's like they kind of knew they weren't that cool anymore, guys, and that's what made them cool.
Buy these glow sticks for 20 quid.
We're doing the merch advert, so we know it's silly. Buy it. Buy it.
You guys are lucky we came out here. Seems like Ricky Hatton was about 10 seconds away from knocking you both out in front of all these English men. He says, huge pap, obviously. They're in his hometown of Sheffield. Ricky Chan. Ricky, we just came out here to say thank you for the match tonight and to tell you, don't worry about these two dimwits because we'll take care of...
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
What did they call Jericho and Big Show? I'll give you a clue. One of them is a children's TV character. Another one is a cereal mascot.
Maybe these two things rhyme. What's a cereal mascot? I don't know any. This is what you've lived your entire life to answer this question.
Tony the Tiger, but neither of that really applies to either of them two. Unless Jericho was in a particularly tiger print coloured suit, perhaps.
No, he wouldn't
Captain
be.
Crunch is an American one, but is he a pirate maybe?
Captain Crunch. Pee Wee Herman and Captain Crunch.
Big Bird for the kids' TV character. Big Show, massive.
Big, right, cool. Big Bird.
So that means
Captain Lunch because he's a fat ass. That's the kind of thing you would say. That's the kind of thing he would say.
No, I will tell you that the children's TV character is British.
Pepper Pig.
No, maybe I'm thrown off with children's TV character.
George Pig.
TV character.
Daddy Pig.
Not necessarily just directed at children, but very British.
Me.
yeah, in a manner of speaking. Is it Mr. Bean?
Hang on. There's a button for this.
In a manner of speaking. Off.
They love that, don't they? You Mr. Bean looking ass.
You Mr. Bean looking ass.
One of the most common lines of abuse I get is a Mr. Bean looking ass.
Hey, why don't you shut your mouth? Mr. Bean on toast.
Mr. Bean's toast.
Mr. Bean's toast.
Is that where you got the food from? You get the food from the TV show, Mr. Bean.
Don't worry about these two dimwits because we'll take care of the Honey Monster
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
Mr. Bean.
Oh.
Sean says, actually, forget about tonight. Why not right now? Jumps Jericho. They sort of corner Big Show. It's 3-on-1. Big Show takes off his jacket. He rolls up his sleeves. And then, of course, he climbs out and says, I'm going to do it on my time, which is literally something we saw on Raw last night.
Wrestlers just do stuff.
And Triple H says, see, that's the way it goes. There's only one D-Generation X, just like there's only one Ricky Hatton. There's a Jedward 316 sign in the crowd, by the way. And Hatton's like, yep, that's right. Triple H goes, and do the suck it bit. And Rick Hatton goes, oh yeah, and if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
I'll 2 words for you. Suck it. Suck it. Suck me cock.
Oh, no. There's more than 2 words. Ricky, no.
Right. Okay. So, bad news, good news time. This is a clip from WWE. The comments are turned off, and they would have been boring rubbish anyway. Good news, I looked at the running order of this show, and Alicia Fox, Kelly followed this, and don't worry, I found some comments from that instead. Boss, once again, these do not reflect the views of myself, Dadley Boyz, anyone at What Culture, or Nathan. Thank you once again for the 5-star review, Nathan.
I'm not going to sell these this time, I've decided.
Okay, Boss simply says...
What we're talking about? What's the context again?
Kelly versus Alicia Fox.
This is on the same show.
Yeah, it was. I think it followed this segment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's go. Kelly. The girl's so hot they named her twice. So, there you go. A nice easing into it there.
So I'm still 2 words. Did I do it, pal? Does anyone ever actually do it? Can I say that?
TJ, regarding Kelly. If only, do you want to finish the sentence? Do you want to have a guess at the sentence? If only what?
No, because, let's just say, you'll get the opportunity to complete these comments at a later date.
A Christmas treat, some might say.
Yeah, we will give you the game.
If only she was topless with her tits out. It's not very...
What's he getting at? Sage, what's he getting at?
Yeah. Real dedication here from West Coast.
Was that the full comment?
That was the full comment.
Right, if only.
Yeah. West Coast says, if I were... if I were fasting, she'd be the only thing I eat. Axe tries to make a sort of disparaging comment about one of the women in this match.
No way.
But he also basically wants to say, I think you've had some work done, basically. But also, I'm still not going to miss my opportunity. So Axe writes, helium, or are they blown up by air? If they're blown up by air, I volunteer. But if you gas, forget it.
Imagine that. After we finish, can we have sex? No.
Final comment.
Can I be one of these?
Final comment.
Oh, I wish I was the tit inflator.
I wish I was that guy's breath.
Final comment comes from. I'm so sorry about this. Comes from.
No, you're not. You are not.
Comes from Murphy. I have no idea. I have no idea. I didn't watch the match. Okay, I have no idea where this has come from.
Just gonna have to get edited out.
No. Having breast nipple milk on behead to smell and kiss, and the smell hitting the hole with good sounds and pains will give more pleasure. Love you big time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Merv. Did you enjoy the match? So thanks to Nathan Payne.
Thanks, Nathan. Happy birthday, Connor.
Happy birthday, Connor.
If you're bored over Christmas, you want to send us more 5-star reviews, Apple Podcasts, or leaves a 5-star rating on Spotify, screenshot it.
We need the proof.
And you're literally adam.wilborn@whatculture.com.
Just tell the penultimate guy thing is inhale blowing them up.
I'm man. That's how they work, and I'm the man to do it.
Loads of breath.
Yeah, make sure you're.
Just imagine that person like me go to school. Shocked her so hard, her tits deflated. So that's how much of a man I am. So.
He's chafing in between. I was blowing her tits up for ages.
So, but just before the main
shag
event,
us award next time.
just before the main event, they're in the back. They're in the
I was
clubhouse.
fat by the end.
Dominic Mysterio, who's been on excellent form in the last 24 hours, is like, hey, JD, do you remember when you lost the match to R-Truth? And that time you got RKO'd from in Survivor Series. That's pretty funny as well, wasn't it? Obviously, no one's happy with the result. It's a bad reflection on all of them, Rhea says. Priest says, right, that's it, you're out Judgment Day. JD was like, oh, come on. And he says, you're not really. Not yet. And Ripley's like, let's get serious. I'm going to defend my title against not even on day one. And then they said, we'll deal with the Creed brothers tonight. And then we got the Creed brothers versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Creed brothers clear the ring early on, about a minute into the match, and they go to a break. When we come back, Priest makes a blind tag, knocks Julius out of the ring, hits a big clothesline, but Brutus comes in, runs wild on Finn Balor, gut wrench slam. Priest comes in, sends Brutus over the announce table with this running charge. After a break, again, Brutus fights back, makes the tag to Julius, and he just runs wild. Balor and Priest get hit with overhead belly-to-belly suplexes, and there's the kip up from Julius.
And I mean...
So,
He did do a kip up.
Oh my God.
he
A bit of random Bobo sneaking in there.
Yeah.
he fires up the crowd, hits a standing shooting star for 2. Ripley tries to attack Ivy Nile, but Ivy Nile reverses, gets Ripley on her shoulders and slams her onto the apron. They hit Balor with the Brutus ball, but Priest dives in at the last second to break up the cover. Julius counters a Priest chokeslam with a drop kick and flip dives. Balor sets up Brutus for a coup de grace, but Julius breaks that up. And the Creeds give Priest a Brutus ball. You think, oh my God, they're going to win the titles. But Balor breaks up the cover, coup de grace. Brutus takes out Balor, but Priest just gets up, grabs Julius. Big South of Heaven chokeslam. 1, 2, 3. Julius kicks out just at like 3.1. Priest kind of bears up, chucks him out of the ring, and they celebrate with the tag titles to close out the show.
Very quickly on that end, because I don't want to just leave it on that ending bit, because the whole match deserves a lot of praise. I thought it was really good. I couldn't tell whether the 3.1 was just like this, the guy's been wrestling for like 2 years, just over. 2021 they made the debut.
Yeah.
Maybe he just thought that wasn't the finish. And was like, oh, sorry, or whatever. I don't think he was literally trying to do the old Vader Shawn Michaels or whatever. There's been like countless examples. The Bobby Fish CM Punk used to happen all of the time. Hawk. The bastard for that back in the day.
It's like Barbarian doesn't know if he's definitely getting booked next week. So I better protect myself.
Myself. I don't think we've done that on purpose. Like, this doesn't see the type, and it's not the system for that anymore. Just isn't. They drill that out of you for better and worse in 2023 WWE. In fact, the last however many years. So I don't know whether it was that. And Priest was like, "What am I doing? I did not look emphatic." He was holding his ear. Did you see the somersault plancher that he hit him with? Nailed him. He absolutely whammed him. So I just don't know if he's just whacked him in the ear and he's got that ring and he's like, oh, you motherfucker. And the next time I get a chance, I'm going to throw you out with that bloody ring and look really, really annoyed. So that was my take. Either, I think it was more the ear getting struck or whatever. I don't think it was anything political. I don't think it's been a shock. Julius Creed.
No.
Like 2 months in, it was Raw run. I just don't think that's what's happened here. I remember...
Cody told me to do it as Pat there. Roll the shoulder.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
I remember watching the second Creed Brothers match, right? And worrying after the first one. You saw the second one, you thought, oh, God, they've been told to tone it down.
Yeah.
Rightly. Rightly or wrongly, rightly. They've rightly been told because it was too much. I mean, I loved it. I'm a sicko, but, you can understand where they're coming from. And every now and then I'm thinking, it's going to come one of these days. Probably going to come. Watch this last night. Well, this morning, I thought, no, you cannot smooth these edges. They are just chaotic and wonderful.
Love 'em.
And the stuff just looks like, I don't know if it's just the inherent meathead intense energy that they have, or they're just really great at working or whatever. But like, they got such a way of just making it all feel like all or nothing high risk. Like, I see a million moves that ordinarily would be described as high risk, right? And then it's almost jarring when a commentator says, high risk move there. It's like, was it? Looks like he looked beautiful enough, but he looked like he was in perfect control. And I see so many moves like this.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's meant to be a risk. It's not. It's just it happens so frequently that it can't be this do or die risk.
Yeah.
The Creeds make it feel like a risk. The timing on some of these saves was really, really good. That's like, you need experience, you need know-how, you need substance to be able to do that part of it. I just came away from this thinking, I'm not even ready to watch the Creeds win the titles yet. I'm just secure in the fact that it's going to happen. It was very on the nose on commentary. One day you'll see this, just not today. And I got that in the story of the match and everything else with the Creed's presentation. He's going to break his... I just hope it happens before Brutus Creed breaks his ankles.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. It's just so committed. Well, here we go. I want to win.
Yeah.
I'll sacrifice my ankles for victory.
High risk.
High risk.
High risk.
It just always feels like there's intent, like there's risk, like there's just a motivation to win or to hurt people behind it. Everything these beautiful boys do, I love them so much. I thought this match was very, very, very good.
Yeah. But lived up to expectations, truthfully, and I'd set them pretty high considering that the Creeds are 2 months into the main roster.
Finn Balor was excellent in this match.
He was old pro stuff in the saves. I think are worth isolating for praise because that should be a joy of tag wrestling. The amount of opportunities you have to let the entire building think this is over before killing it yet again and reheating everything up. They nailed that for me in this one. The Creeds, add them to the list because for me personally, there's loads, but I understand why. If you're watching WWE, a little bit like arm's length, I'll never really be able to love this.
The Creeds transcend that.
WWE are kind of creating a number of different wrestlers, acts, moments, things that make you wish you were there. I keep talking about the Jey Uso. I like that nonsense, but people want wrestling, and I get that. The Creeds are that. You want to be in the building for the Creeds because you want to experience that firsthand. You know that it's great now because the meme itself is getting memed, but for the longest time when it was Cesaro was fire for this, and it's that thing where he hits everybody. That's great. That's an amazing arrangement of a spot. But then, because you've watched it a million times because of the meme, when you watch it enough times, it's actually quite clean. The way they've positioned their bodies, it takes an incredible athlete to do what Cesaro does in that lung bursting flurry. But it's almost WWE in its arrangement. There's him, there's him, there's him, there's him. The Creeds do that, but it just feels like they don't care who happens to be there. They summon that energy, but create the chaos that needs to really get it over the line. The Creeds were fire for that in every match, potentially, especially when there's high stakes and there's things on the line and things that matter. They are yet another act, and there's been loads in WWE this year, and it's why the gates are they are and the baby faces are they are that you just wish you were there in person for. It's so key to getting people in buildings, and they'll be fine for that as a result.
Yeah, really enjoyed this main event and was kind of fine with them not winning the titles yet because, like you say, it's coming eventually. Let us know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, though, in the comment section or on X at What Culture WWE. Well, actually, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Because you haven't got a producer today. We're all down that camera. You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Nathan Payne. My thanks to Hamflett, to Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.